We good? All right, there we go. So, thanks everyone for coming to join us tonight. We are here for a very exciting interview, I hope. And we are talking about a wonderful, wonderful organization. And we're going to talk to Sandy, the founder of Books Behind Bars, an organization that is telling its own story, a connection between those who are incarcerated and home, and how we kind of keep that relationship alive. My name is Melissa Anderson, and I will be moderating for tonight, although I have some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful co hosts. I'll start by saying my personal connection with Books Behind Bars came with the introduction of Sandy almost a year ago. And we talked about her organization and how it started, and I thought it was very, very exciting. The personal connection where I actually got to participate is when we did the uh, uh, now I lost my train of thought. The Christmas cards for the inmates, and we made a very good connection with that. And I had an actual inmate person who was incarcerated reach back out to me, which was very exciting, and she shared that with me. So that's my personal connection with Sandy and Books Behind Bars. And next, I'm going to ask Crystal to introduce herself and talk a little bit about her personal connection.
Um, Hi, I'm Crystal Hutchinson. I was introduced to Books Behind Bars, of course, from Sandy, who is a very close personal friend of mine. And for Books Behind Bars, I guess I've just always been willing to help out in everything that Sandy does. So I've learned more about the program through her and through our conversations. I also helped with the Christmas cards. I didn't have anyone, I didn't even know Melissa had anyone reach back out. I didn't have anyone reach out to me, which I think would have been awesome. But that's my personal connection.
Awesome, thank you. Now we'll have Jess.
Hi, I'm Jess McColl. I work with Sandy and got to know the program that she started just by working with her. I helped out with the Christmas card program as well. And now I'm helping kind of organize the pen pal program that is about to start. So that's how I got involved.
Awesome. And Shannon.
Hi, everybody. I'm Shannon Mcdevitt. I've been friends with Sandy for several years for organizing Keep May County Indivisible and general rabble rousing. So I was excited when Sandy told me about Books Behind Bars because I too like to see an end to the prison industrial complex. And I love the work that she's doing, and also helped out with the Christmas cards and any donating of books we can do, anything we can do to help support this project. So thanks.
Awesome. And last but not least, the person of the hour, the founder of Books Behind Bars, Miss Sandy.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Cassandra Gatelein. Most of you know me as Sandy, and I am the founder and program coordinator for Books Behind Bars.
Awesome. So thank you all again for being here. And at this time, we are going to have Sandy go into a little presentation, giving us some background information on the organization and ultimately how everyone can get involved with this awesome program. So Sandy, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, cool. Thank you, Melissa. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, can everybody see that?
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so again, my name is Cassandra Gatelein. I'm the founder and program coordinator of Books Behind Bars, New Jersey. Books Behind Bars is proud to be the first and only Books to Prisoner program in the state. We are a grassroots, volunteer-run prison abolition project that provides free books upon request to incarcerated individuals. We are based in Wildwood, and we are currently mailing books to every prison facility in New Jersey. So let's talk a little bit about how our program works. So first, we collect new and gently used paperback books from the community. We organize them into our donation library. And then incarcerated people write us letters requesting what kinds of books they want to read. We then pull books from our donation library, matching their request the best that we can, selecting books that we think they will enjoy. And then we pack them up and we mail them out. So the books become their personal property. So that means when they are done reading them, they can either choose to hold on to them or they can pass the books along to somebody else. We do also have an Amazon wish list for when specific titles are requested that we don't have and we're trying to find them for somebody. But I'll give you the links for all of that at the end. So let's talk a little bit about why books to prison programs are vital. Books Behind Bars believes that reading and having access to books is a basic human right. However, it's very difficult for incarcerated people to actually get reading materials in their hands, especially quality reading materials. And there's several reasons why this is. Number one, most prisons do not have adequate prison libraries or educational programs. And with this pandemic and all of the lockdowns, there has been no access to what little resources are available to them. So number two is the issue of book censorship, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. Number three is excessive mailroom restrictions. For example, family and friends cannot send used books into prisons. Books instead must come directly from an online retailer or a program like ours. The problem with that is that many families can't afford to buy books for their loved ones in prison, and many incarcerated people have been in there for so long that they no longer have contacts on the outside. And I'm actually reminded of this one man who wrote back to us after our holiday card drive back in December. And he had said that the card we sent him was the first card that anybody had sent him in over 26 years. So these are all reasons why programs like ours are very important. Okay, so book censorship in prisons. When we're discussing book censorship, it's really important to understand which populations are disproportionately affected by this censorship. And this is Black people, Indigenous people, and other people of color, especially those who are working class or poor. It is also really important to understand that book censorship goes back to slave owners denying enslaved people the right to read and write. So book censorship has historically been used as a tool of oppression, and it's still being used as such today. I wanted to highlight this one recent case with the book, The New Jim Crow. So this book was written by a civil rights lawyer and legal scholar, Michelle Alexander. This is a book that very much critiques our criminal justice system. It argues that we have not ended racial caste in America, we have simply redesigned it. There was no valid reason to ban this book. The DOC banned it simply because it's critical of our prison system and they felt like they could. So the ACLU did get involved and they fought to get this book unbanned. Fortunately, they were successful, and now we are able to send this book into every prison in New Jersey. I have to tell you that I, on a personal level, I get great joy whenever we can send in this particular title to New Jersey prisons, given the fact that it was banned not so long ago. And we do actually keep this title on our Amazon wish list if you wanted to purchase this for somebody. Okay, so moving on to reading reduces recidivism. So we promote literacy, reading, and education behind bars and help break the cycle of recidivism. We aim to increase access to books as much as we can. We send in a wide variety of books, including GED materials, trade books such as plumbing and welding and carpentry, Black and Latinx history, intersectional feminism, activism, prison writings, poetry, art, yoga, meditation, astrology, sociology, psychology, biology, classic American lit, thrillers, mysteries, fantasy, science fiction, and so much more. So we send in a lot of different kinds of books. Okay. Sending books is solidarity. So it's really important to note that we do not see this as an act of charity. Rather, we see sending books as an act of love and solidarity.
Sandy, can I
We,
interrupt you for a moment? Are you meaning
sorry?
are you meaning to share the screen still?
Yeah,
All right.
cool. I'm glad you caught that. Got it?
Got it.
Cool. All right, so sending books is an act of love and solidarity. So we do acknowledge that the prison industrial complex disproportionately targets Black, Indigenous, and people of color, queer and trans or gender nonconforming people, as well as disabled folks and sex workers. We empower incarcerated people by providing access to knowledge of their choosing so they can learn and grow as they desire. And we aim to minimize the dehumanizing effects of prison while raising awareness and focusing on community care. We believe that education is essential in building a society that no longer criminalizes people nor looks to a cage to solve its problems. So I included this quote because it illustrates just how powerful books can be. Books can provide hope and comfort. They can educate and entertain. They can spark growth and healing. One book has the power to change somebody's life. Great activists and visionaries such as Nelson Mandela, Angela Davis, Eldridge Cleaver, Malcolm X, and Gandhi all wrote about the great solace they received from books in prison. And with your help, we can make a positive impact in so many people's lives. And I'll read the quote. It reads, "I have often reflected upon the new vistas that reading opened up to me. I knew right there in prison that reading had changed forever the course of my life. As I see today, the ability to read awoke in me some long dormant craving to be mentally alive." Malcolm X. So this brings us to ways that you can get involved. Of course, one of the best ways to get involved in Books Behind Bars is to donate books. Our program relies on your used book donations, and without them, we would not exist. So we accept new and used paperback books of all genres. Some examples of books we most currently need are Black history, urban fiction, dictionaries, and thesauruses. We cannot accept hardcovers or any books with writing, highlighting, underlining, or stains. We do ask that you be mindful in paying attention to these guidelines when donating books, because it does take a lot of time and energy to sort through the book donations. So you can mail books to our PO box, or you can email us to schedule a pickup or a drop off. The second way you can get involved is to purchase books from our Amazon or our Harriet's wish list. I'm sure you're all familiar with Amazon wish lists, but we also have a wish list with Harriet's Bookshop. Harriet's is a Black women-owned bookshop in Philadelphia, named after the legendary Harriet Tubman. You can support them and Books Behind Bars by purchasing off of their wish list for us. The next way to get involved is to organize a book drive to collect books for our program. This is a fun way to help out. You can also do a book drive that is just focused on one kind of book, for example, a dictionary drive or a thesaurus drive. The fourth way to get involved is to donate money or help us raise money for shipping. Shipping is our #1 expense. And again, we are a grassroots all volunteer program. So 100% of monetary donations goes right to shipping and materials. And finally, you can sign up on the mailing list for future volunteer opportunities. We do currently need volunteers who are willing to drive to pick up donations for us, as well as volunteers who would like to do tabling at local events. So you can email us if you'd like to help with that. As things become safer pandemic-wise, there will be more and more ways for folks to get involved. I mentioned the tabling. There's also will be community packing sessions and book sales, and we're really looking forward to doing all of that. But most importantly, if you have a family member or a friend or a loved one who is incarcerated in New Jersey, please make sure to send them our mailing address so they can write to us and request free books. And there's also one more way you can get involved. We have a special announcement. We're actually really excited to tell you about the launch of our new Pen Pal program. And Jess is on the call with us. She's been working really closely with me on the Pen Pal program. So Jess, I don't know if you want to jump in and help me tell them a little bit about the Pen Pal program, how people can sign up, and why we decided to do it.
Sure. Yeah. So there's that link on the slide right now that shows it'll send you to an intake form where you fill out your information, and that will help us set you up with someone who's incarcerated to get into a pen pal kind of situation. So they can, in addition to requesting books, we've had people that were requesting pen pals. So this is a way to kind of one-on-one build a personal connection with somebody that is currently incarcerated.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, it really just formed organically out of there being a need. As people were writing us letters to request books, we started getting more and more requests for pen pals. So we did decide to create this program to meet that need. And we hope to break down the walls and isolation and build connections and solidarity between those on the inside and those on the outside. Okay, and the final slide we have here is the contact info and links. You'll see our mailing address is Books Behind Bars at P.O. Box 2611, Wildwood, New Jersey, 08260. Our website is booksbehindbarsnj.com. Our email is listed there. We have our link tree, which has all of our social media links, our Amazon, our Harriet's wish list, our PayPal link to donate, and more. Another quick note: if you would like to make a monetary donation, there is an option on the PayPal link to make a monthly contribution. So I just wanted to point that out as well. Another thing you can do that would help out is to like and share our pages on social media to help us spread the word about this program. And I think that's it for our slides.
Very cool. Thank you, Sandy and Jess, for that. You answered a lot of the questions I had already prepared. Um, so I don't know where we go from here. That was very thorough. But one of the points you were making was about how they were denying books and reading was a tool of oppression. And one of the books that came to mind was that of Asada Shakur, which is no one is going to give you the education you need to overthrow them. And so I do
Mhm.
that it's very, very systematic, and it's important for an organization such as yourself to, call those systems out on that. So my question is, you talked a lot about the prisons. What about the local and county jails? Have you found any opposition in that avenue?
Mhm. Yes, we sure have. As I had mentioned, we have been successful in getting books into every prison facility in the state. Even Fort Dix, which is a federal prison that's located on a military base. However, the local county jails have actually been more difficult and much less receptive to our program and the resources we have available. We've been trying for quite some time to get books into our local jail here in Cape May County. And while I am thankful for the incredible support of the local prosecutor's office and the support we've received from other local officials, I am really disappointed with the warden of our local county jail. Ultimately, the decision does rest with the warden. He will not allow our program into our local jail. Right now, we're pushing for a library cart. Our local jail currently does not have any sort of library facility whatsoever. So we'll see what happens with the library cart. But I do have to be honest, it is disappointing, and it's shameful, really. It's shameful. Because what it really boils down to is this attitude, and it's very pervasive, I've found. And the attitude is that they believe that incarcerated people, particularly the people that are in their care, in their facilities, that they don't deserve these resources. And I think that that's what's at the root of it. That's what it boils down to. That's what I think is at the root of this opposition. That they feel that incarcerated people do not deserve these resources, and that by withholding these resources, it's a way to further punish them. So I am a persistent person. I'm going to keep pushing forward. I will still continue to try to get our program into the local county jails, and especially the one, our local Cape County correctional facility. And if we can get a library cart in there, we'll do that. But yeah, that's how I feel about that.
Does anyone else wanna chime in here?
I'll chime in.
All right.
So, Sandy, one of my favorite things about your program is just the human connection and the awareness that it brings. I know that even for myself, I wasn't as aware as I should have been. I think you said that just by getting books to incarcerated people, the guards, the wardens, they see these people as people now, and how important that is. And I don't know if it's much of a question, it's more of a discussion, that I think I'm excited for you and Books Behind Bars when we open up and you do tabling and things like that, because I think the general public should know about the conditions, about abolition and things like that. Like just moving forward, how exciting it can be to start with a book and really reach more people and let them know the conditions of prison. So I'm just pretty much saying kudos.
Thank you.
So my question was going to be about the county jail. Melissa just stole the words from out my mouth. She just got to speak first. So if you do wind up getting into the county jail with a library card, or any county jail, you would need volunteers to help with that, or would it be, if there would be a CO that would be giving out the books, or?
So ideally, I would like it to be us. I think the more that we can be hands-on in the facility and making sure that people are in fact getting the books and that they're able to request what titles they want, the more that we can be hands-on, I think that's, the better the program will be. If it has to be a CO running it for us, I would like a direct line of communication with that person so we can oversee it. But yeah, I'm hoping that that's something we'll be able to have volunteers help out with when we get that going.
Awesome. So let's switch track a little bit and talk more about the pen pal, John. I know it's just starting and you all are, putting things in order. So what's something that you could say, to a person who may have reservations about corresponding with a person who is incarcerated? That could be for you or Jess, whichever, or whoever.
Well, for me, and feel free to jump in, Jess, or anybody else. For me, what I would say is I would invite that person to sort of examine what feelings are coming up and sort of sit with that fear and really think about where that's coming from. We do encourage people to use their home address, for example, when writing their incarcerated pen pal, and that is something that comes up, but we do invite people to really sit with that and try to push through it.
I think for me, if somebody was having reservations about it, I would say it doesn't have to be a romantic thing. It can just be a friendship. So it's not necessarily if man or woman, it doesn't have to be romantic. It can just be camaraderie and solidarity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the other thing is you can just write one single letter of solidarity. If you don't have a lot of time, that's okay. It's good to communicate that and be clear about what your level of commitment is going to be. We never want to like make promises that we can't keep, or set up expectations and then break them. But if you are able to even just send one strong letter of solidarity, that can really make a difference for people as well. But I agree with what Crystal is saying. It definitely does not have to be a romantic relationship. It can be a friendship. It can be a mentorship. You can write poetry. You can work on art together and send projects back and forth. There can be puzzles and games. So it can take a lot of different forms. I don't know if you can hear my neighbor's dog howling. But another thing is we do want to encourage people to stick with it too. If you do participate in the program and you write a couple letters and it's a little bit awkward at first, we do want to encourage you to stick with it. The more that you guys get to know each other, just like any other relationship, the easier that communication will become. And these relationships, these pen pal relationships can be extremely rewarding on both sides.
And I think like Sandy was saying too, how somebody responded to the holiday card drive and they said it hadn't been written in 26 years. Like it's to send some solidarity and like words of love and just like connection with another person. It can really help the mental state of being like so, isolated, and it's just a kindness and a new relationship that you can have with a new friend,
Mm-hmm.
I think it also helps humanize the people that are in there, because I feel like when we're in school, and especially in our formative years, that we learn that bad people go to jail, and jails are full of good people who may have had like the worst night of their life. Jails and prisons are full of people like that. So, it's not necessarily that bad people go to prison. And Sandy made some really good points, that, Black and brown people and trans and queer people are disproportionately sent to jails and prisons. So, they have harsher sentences and they're in there for longer times. So humanizing the people that are in prison is really important, because like I said, it's full of good people. And it really is. I do believe that.
Mm-hmm.
If I can add on to what Crystal said, not only humanizing them for us on the outside, but for themselves, because I do believe, like a lot of times, and this is from speaking from people, there's a very real level of self-actualization where they're defined by their situation and the worst night of their life, as Crystal said, and they come out and it repeats. So one of your slides talked about how reading prevents recidivism. And I thought that was an excellent point. And to tag that onto what Crystal says, is that the humanizing goes all the way around. Like if you're human on the outside, you're also going to be human on the inside, and we have to remember that. So for those officials who make it more challenging for us to do that, maybe they should sit down and really take a listen to this whole presentation and program.
I'd like to add as well, the humanization. I think it's an important step towards transformative justice. I know when you said sit with it, if it bothers you to write to an incarcerated person. So I thought maybe myself, like as a survivor, I would have to sit with someone that's committed a violent crime or something like that. But that's something I work toward. And I think the more people that work toward that is helpful in abolition, transformative justice, and just moving into a better world. So I appreciate the effort for that. Can I ask some trivia?
Oh, cool. You got some trivia? This is
what was the first book that was sent by Books Behind Bars to a prison, Sandy?
Okay. So the very first book that we ever sent was a Maya Angelou book, and it was I know why the caged bird sings. And oh, I almost cry like every time I start talking about this. But so this man had written and specifically asked for this book. And it was when we had just started the program. We did not have very many books. And this was the very first letter. And he had wrote to us requesting this book. And we had it. We had it. And I was so excited to be able to give this man this book. It just gave me such joy. It made my entire week. I was so thrilled to be able to give this to him. And he did write back and he said, thank you. And he's actually written us at least 5 more times to request lots of other books. So yeah, so that was the very first book that we ever sent.
Awesome.
Any other questions? So Sandy, why Books Behind Bars? Why this thing? Why this project? Why this task? What pulled you to it?
Okay, so as I said, you know that Books Behind Bars is the first and only Books to Prisoner program in New Jersey. But I do want to be clear that it is not the first Books to Prisoners program. There are many, many other groups and organizations across the country and across the world who are doing this work and have been doing this work for a very long time. And I was very inspired by some of those organizations. One in particular, Andy and the gang at Books to Prisoners in Seattle. I believe they've been doing Books to Prisoner work since 1973, I believe. But there's so many other programs like them and so many other activists that have really like trailblazed the way for us and for programs like this, specifically radical Black women. I really am inspired by, of course, Angela Davis. I'm really inspired by an organizer named Miriam Kaba. I'm inspired by all of the women that are here with me on this call. So there's lots of people out there doing this work. But those other programs who were very generous with their time and advice and who really helped me when I was getting Books Behind Bars started, I owe a lot to them. And like I said, there's so many other programs in this country that are also doing this work. And while Books Behind Bars is not directly affiliated with them, we wholeheartedly support the work that they're doing.
Very good.
How successful was your holiday card drive this year? I know I wrote, I don't remember how many cards, and it was rewarding for me just to write them out even without a response. And I know you were excited about that. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so actually all of you participated in that first holiday card drive that we did. And we ended up sending a total of 680 holiday cards to incarcerated people in New Jersey. Yeah. So I was super over the moon excited about that. And big thanks to each of you, because I know all of you guys wrote out a lot of cards and participated in that. And that's definitely something I would like to do every year. And maybe even for other holidays as well. And we got so many cards back saying, thank you, this meant so much to me. They were surprised. They didn't expect it. And it just really it really made the difference. And it does. So yeah, I would love to do more card drives like that.
And when do you roll out the pen pal? Is that rolling out now, the program?
Yeah, yep. So we're getting ready to launch that now. People can sign up starting now. If you go to the Google form, and after we post this Zoom, I'll post the links for all of that as well. But yeah, I'm really excited about the Pen Pal program, and I hope that everybody participates and signs up to get a Pen Pal. One thing, because we were talking about, what should people do if they're feeling apprehensive. I did also want to say that you can email Books Behind Bars at our email, which is info@booksbehindbarsnj.com. And if there is any kind of issue that we can help you with, if there's something that's making you feel uncomfortable, we are there to be able to help, and we'll help you, walk you through it as much as we can. If you do need to stop communication for any reason, if there's some kind of question that comes up, for example, if somebody asks you for something and you're not sure how to deal with it. Another thing I did just want to say, since we're on the Pen Pal program, is it's okay to set healthy boundaries. It's okay to set a clear expectation of how often you're going to write. And so, yeah, so we're just really excited about it. But if you do have any questions at all, you can always just email the program.
Sandy, I'd just like to say that you keep saying we, but you've been a one-woman show. So I think that you should take credit. Yeah. You should take credit for that. You are. And you're rallying everybody together. So it really is so much you. And so you're amazing. So thank you for setting up the program, and thank you for saying we and not me.
It's not just me, but thank you. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you. Yeah, it has been a little bit rough with the pandemic. The pandemic has kind of like barred me from having as many people on board and helping with things as I wanted. But now that things are getting safer, we'll be able to have a lot more ways for other people to get involved. But thank you, Crystal. So I have a question for any of you guys, whoever wants to answer. But I'm just curious what this program means to you, or what it means to you to volunteer for Books Behind Bars, or what it meant to you to participate in the holiday card drive.
I'll go first. So for me, in the same vein of what Crystal just said, if you ask, you pretty much got it from me. So that was no problem, and it was really Crystal who actually initiated, I think, with the card drive. I said it initially. I wasn't apprehensive, but it was a daunting task, and we sat here and hand wrote those things, and we ended up with some hand cramping at the end, but it was very, very much worth it. As I'm writing each note. And for me, what I did was I changed a couple of words in each. And for me, it's kind of like, if I'm sitting there thinking like this person just, wrote something from a script, which is fine, but they don't know that they each got something different from me. And that sits well with me. And I mentioned earlier about how, you shared with me that I received something back. And the letter talked about the person who had just, um, oh gosh, I don't cry either. What is happening? He had just lost his mother, and this would have been the first Christmas that he didn't get anything from her. And so he received that, and he said, I know I'm probably just a name that you picked or was just random, but you don't even know how much that means to me. And so to be able to hear those stories, and sometimes in my mind, I forget that they're there. It's not part of my everyday living or existence or language, even though I've had friends and family members who have been in and out of the system. It's easy for me to tune it out. So that really like solidified the fact that I wanted to be a part of this, and I wanted to help you get the word out. And it's even more beneficial that I get to, I don't know Jess that well, but I'd like to get to know her. But I get to work with Shannon and Crystal and the rest of everybody that we kind of roll with. So it's really not even just only humanizing, but it is community building. And I think that is so important that we continue to do that and build that infrastructure, so when they come out, they have a net to fall into. And I think that's part of what has drawn me to this organization. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would echo everything that Melisha said, but yes, for me, it was the human connection, it's the awareness, it's on a personal level, like breaking cycles of my own that, it's a visceral response to think that people commit a crime and they should go to jail. And I like to think of other ways to fix things. And what Melisha was saying is for community, I think it's a great awareness. And I just think it's awesome, Sandy. You've been doing a great job, so I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I don't really think I can add any more besides Melissa and Shannon. Obviously, my initial pull was because Sandy asked me to do something, and just like Melissa said, if Sandy asks, she's gonna get it. So Melissa and I did sit down and write out a slew of cards with our hands like this. It was like in one day, like we just sat down and, well, maybe like 2 days, we sat down and did them all for Christmas. So I'm really glad that so many people got holiday cards. I think that we should shoot for a higher number next year, start it a little earlier. And I'm here for the long run to help you. So stand behind you.
Thank you so much.
I don't think I can really add anything to all of you guys said, but it's really exciting to get to work with all of you, and I'm excited to help people and to make connections with people, and like I said, be a network. These incarcerated people that when they come out into the world, they have people with backs. So, thank you, Sandy.
Thank you so much.
All right, I'm good. Sandy? Are you good? Are you feeling good about it? Did we did all right?
Yeah, I think that's great. I'm so excited for everything moving forward, and thank you guys for being on here tonight with me and for helping me with Books Behind Bars. And I love you all. So thank you so much.
Love you too. And with that said, we will end our first and hopefully not last Books Behind Bars session.
Woohoo!
Everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.